lived in Netivot in the south, and so everybody went down. Everybody loved this student. Everybody went down to the engagement party. I had a shiur to give, so I didn't go. I came. I stayed. I gave the shiur. Nobody came. Everybody was there. So should I still give the shiur? There's the camera. So I gave the shiur. Nobody was in the room. I was thinking maybe somebody's going to walk in the middle, and of course somebody did walk in the middle. I was like wondering, why is this rabbi speaking to an empty room? But online, 300 people watched that shiur. Wow. Right, so you never know. You never know. Even something that, anyway, so it's better late than never. Thank you. Okay, without further ado, gentlemen, we're going to jump back into. We were learning a beautiful piece last time from a Sefer called Geulat Yisrael, which is teachings from the Baal Shem Tov. And we were doing this to explain. I'll give the context again of where we were. We're in the 5th chapter of Tomer Devorah from the Ramak, and we're learning about the midah of Chesed. And before the Ramak goes into 8 different aspects, actions of Chesed that we could do in our life. So before that, he first said that the first aspect of Chesed, to embody the midah of Chesed, is to love Hashem. Chesed and love are synonymous, and they go together. And so the first thing is to love Hashem, to be totally in love with Hashem. And how that comes into play is, one way is that no matter what lot you're given in life, no matter what kind of experience you're having at any given moment, whether it's a revealed kind of love that Hashem is giving you in blessing, or if it's a hidden kind of love and blessing, and it feels like a little bit of a patch, it feels like a suffering, right? And we understand that everything Hashem does is good, and that we love Hashem no matter what He gives us, right? This is one way. It's not easy. It's much easier said than done. But that's the midah of loving Hashem. And like we said, b'chol me'odecha. We say in Shema, you have to love Hashem with all your heart, with all of your soul, and all of your me'od. And one of the ways that Chazal understand me'od is every kol midah v'midah shemodedim lach. Every midah that Hashem relates to you with, no matter what. If it's raining, if it's sunny, right? We love Hashem, right? So. And the reason why is because we understand, of course, we love the sunshine more than the rain. I know some people may. In Israel, you learn to love the rain. Well, as a child, I hated the rain because in Houston, Texas, it can rain sometimes for a month straight. And when I decided where I want to live in the world, I said just anywhere that it doesn't rain so much. And I didn't realize that I was going to end up in Eretz Yisrael one day. But here, you learn to love the rain. But anyway, we love a sunny day more than we love a rainy day. And even Chazal in Masechet Ta'anit, they say that a day of rain is greater than the day of the revival of the dead, because it gives life to us. Rain is our sustenance. It gives our sustenance. But on the other hand, nobody likes a rainy day. It says that in Masechet Ta'anit. It's so muddy. You can't go out to work. Can't go out to play. You're inside all day, right? But above the rain clouds is always the sun, right? So that's our belief also with the Kadosh Baruch Hu. No matter if I'm having a sunny day, proverbially in my life, or a rainy, hail, stormy day, above that is Hashem's sun, right? And this piece of Baal Shem Tov, we're going to explain why do we have those different experiences. But no matter what it is, Hashem, I'm devoting myself to loving you, no matter what kind of experience you're giving me, because I believe that it's for my good. And I'll just read this last paragraph that we left off on the Tomer Devorah, and then we'll go back into the Baal Shem Tov. It says, "V'hainu midat Nachum ish Gamzu," and this is the midah of Nachum ish Gamzu. And you guys remember the story we said of Nachum ish Gamzu, that he was on his bed and his whole body was right. He was in very bad shape. Everything that happened, he said, Gamzu l'tova. This is also for the good. So what was he? Why did he do that? Why did he say that? Because every experience that he was having, he wanted to l'kasha tamid b'tzad chesed anikra tov. He wanted to connect it, to tie it to the chesed that's in it. Right? Very famous teaching of the Baal Shem Tov is that when you can't see the good, when the good is in anything in your life is hidden and you don't see it, if you think about it and you search for it and you find some type of hidden good, so then you actually reveal it. Not just in your mind, it's not just a mind trick. You actually reveal, you actually change things by finding the good in it. And that's what Nachum ish Gamzu was doing. He was saying, also this is good, this rainy day, this storm, right? V'haya omer gam zo shenireh shehis bismol, and he dafka said gam zo, and he didn't say gam zeh, like most of us would say today, gam zeh l'tov. Also this, right, in masculine form. He said gam zo, in female form because that female, the feminine, is connected more to the side of smol, of the left, of din, right? Women are more just like in the masculine female biologically relationship when they have a child, right? So a woman, she's internal. She takes one. She's focused. Meaning she takes one seed and she creates with that, and everything is internal. And she constricts. She brings it down, right? Women are also connected to. I'm kind of speaking a lot here about uh, more general type of Kabbalistic terminology. But that's not my intention. Just to understand what the Ramak is saying. Women are also connected to Malchut, the midah of Malchut, to bring something. Malchut is the kingdom, to bring something into fruition. A man has a very classic spiritual dynamic, psycho-spiritual dynamic between men and women, is that a man has endless potential. He's got all kinds of ideas, right? The woman's like, Tachlis, what are we doing now, right? She brings it into action. She's the one that settles him down and actually brings something, right? Just like a man has endless seed, but he can't do anything with that seed. She takes one of them and she actually makes a baby, right? So it's the same thing. She constricts it, and that's the midah of din. That's the midah of gvura. So also on the negative sense, when we have dinim, we have gvura, we have difficult experiences. So that's on the side. It's connected to the side of feminine, and so that's why the Nachum said gamzo, feminine. Also, this that seems like a difficult thing. It seems like it's on the feminine side. The tova, it's also connected to chesed, right? And that's why, by the way, man is a man spiritually. Man is masculine is connected to chesed, and woman is to gvura, and that's why a man and a woman together, that is called a yichud, right? It's called the unification. And in the we're not going to go into this, but I'm just sharing this information with you so you know, because it's so valuable to understand this. In the Kabbalah of the Arizal, everything is broken up into two things, masculine and feminine. And everything is also discussed as yichudim, you've probably heard, to make unifications of Hashem's name, right? Which we don't really know what those Kabbalists are talking about when they say that, but what it means at a very basic level in our understanding is that there's a masculine side, i.e. chesed, and there's a feminine side, i.e. gvura, din, difficulty, constriction. They have to be together. If they put them together, then it gives birth. A man and a woman can't give birth, much to the dismay of many people in the world today. But only a man and a woman can give birth, right? And that's not to belittle anybody's experience and difficult and challenges in the world. It's just a biological reality. It's also a spiritual reality. Masculine and feminine together makes a unification, and that brings in a new birth, new life into this world, right? So Nachumish Gamzu, in every difficult situation, which was a zo, Gamzo the Tova, he's connecting it to the Tova, to the Chesed. V'haya Omer Gamzo the Tova, shehi b'smol kshurak b'gvura, which is the right. He's just saying out what we just spoke out. And no ela la Tova, even though it looks like it's on the left side, it's really on the right side. Meaning Hashem's Chesed and Rachamim's compassion is also in this. Ikshura b'Chesed, it's connected to Chesed. V'haya sam dato al tzad dato b'midah umastir dineh, and he would focus on the good, and he would hide the negative experience, the negative part of it, right? Which to most of us would drive us crazy. We love the stories about Nachumish Gamzu, but I have to tell you, if you had a friend that was really like Nachumish Gamzu, he would probably drive you crazy, right? Like, let me complain. I'm mad. I'm bitter. I'm upset right now. I just got a parking ticket for 500 shekels. Right now, it's all for the good, brother. It's all for the good. Gamzu litova, right? He would drive you crazy, right? Right? But Nachumish Gamzu, he was hiding the din. No, nothing, right? I joke. My wife is kind of like that, and me and my kids, we joke about it. We ask her, Ima, you think this is okay? She's never gonna say no. It's not okay. Not like, you know, is this cottage cheese still good? Yeah, sure. Yeah. It's like, everything's good. Yeah, Baruch Hashem. Right? That's Nachumish Gamzu. V'zohi anhaga gdola lehikasher b'chesed tamid. And this is an amazing trait, behavior, to always be connecting everything to the good. Right? My brother just told me recently about a book about the Lubavitcher Rebbe. I can't wait to get it. It's called Positivity Bias. I don't know if you guys have heard about it, but the Rebbe, Lubavitcher Rebbe, was. I mean, we have so much written about him and so much access to his conversation and his speech. He was a master of positivity, a master. he would never say anything negative. If there's a way to say it, even if he was saying, if he was rebuking, which he rebuked quite often, but he rebuked in a positive way that you felt picked up, you felt elevated by it, because he didn't use negative language. I heard someone recently recalling a story of the Rebbe, and 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 he was trying to give over the words of the Rebbe, and he was saying that if you didn't have a light switch and you couldn't turn on the light, you'd be in the dark room, you could fall and you could break your neck. I said the Rebbe didn't say that. There's no way. The Rebbe would never say you could break your neck, right? Because the Rebbe was, I think even Rav Steinsaltz has a book about, it's called Simple Words. And it's all about how if you just change your words a little bit, you can always say something positively. Matter of fact, so I'm speaking so fast, you guys, are everybody with me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're together? The Gemara says that Leolam lo yetzeh devar meguneh mipicha. That never should you allow something coarse or unpleasant come out of your mouth. There's always a way to say it more pleasantly. And where do they learn? This one they learn from the Torah, right? You guys know that we have a rule that the Hashem didn't waste any words and even any letters in the Torah. If there's a letter there, if it looks extra, it's not extra. It's coming to teach something. If there's a word, it's coming to teach something. So there's a few places in the Torah where it says, "Et behema ateora," the pure animal, "Vet behema she'enena teora," and the animal that is not pure. Instead of saying tameh, which means impure, it says enena teora. That's not pure, right? You could say, "How was the sandwich?" Bad, or you could say, "Yeah, not my favorite." Yeah, you know. So everybody gets the point, but she said, "What's the point? Let me just say I could use one word, and that's what the Gemara is saying. It could have just said abema tmeah, one word, behema tmeah, tmeah meaning the adjective, but it said enena teora, two words. It used an extra word to teach you. You need to go out of your way that it should be positive speech, right? And that was like I was saying, the Lubavitcher Rebbe was a master of that behavior of always trying to find the good. And now, since I said that, since I recalled that story, I'll just tell you the story that about the Lubavitcher Rebbe that he said that he didn't say to fall and break your neck. And the story goes like this. You may have heard this. I think it's quite famous that there was a Chabad rabbi, a shliach in Toronto, somewhere in Canada maybe, and he had students that he was teaching a shiur in Tanya, and he brought them down. This must have been in the 60s, 70s. He brought them down to 770 to meet with the Rebbe, and they had a yechidus. They actually had a private meeting, just the students, 35 students with the Rebbe. They got to ask him all their questions. Like, what would we do for one of those today? So one of them said he had said it was a great question. He said, Rabbi Schneerson, he said, now I know that you're the Lubavitcher Rebbe, but I see this is your office, and the whole world comes to visit you in this office. What's your job? What's your actual job description? What do you do here, right? So the Rebbe smiled. He liked that question, right? Beautiful, right? The Rebbe smiled. So he said, "You see that light switch?" He said, "So that light switch is connected to metal wires that have in them an electrical current, and they go all the way down to the major generator of Brooklyn, New York, and that generator is generating tremendous amount of electricity." Right, and it makes it, and then it's connected all the way back with much bigger currents, all the way back to Niagara Falls, which is pouring down massive amounts of energy, and that pumps electrical current into all the wires, and it leads it to the generator, and the generator minimizes it, makes it smaller, that it's manageable and it doesn't blow up into those small wires, and it comes into the light switch, and that light switch everybody has within their power to turn it on or off. This is a very simple thing. And if you turn it on, you have light in the room and you can see. And if you don't turn it on, so you're always walking around in the dark. So he said the same thing with every single person. Every single person has a soul. And that soul is tremendous godly power. But it's constricted, it's down, and it's just just enough for one neshama in their body and their experience, right? If they have this godly soul, but they have to know where the light switch is to be able to turn it on, right? He said, my job here is to help people find their light switch. That's great. It's right on the spot, right? So, okay. And part of finding that light switch is connecting everything to chesed, because then you become the chariot, you become the seat for Hashem's chesed. Okay, now we're going to go back into the Baal Shem Tov. We're good on time. Uh, I'm gonna quickly just repeat what the Baal Shem Tov's question was, where we got last time. I don't remember exactly where we got up to, but I know we didn't get too far into this piece. We started that, I do remember. So he's bringing, this is Baal Shem Tov on the story, the famous story of Rabbi Akiva when he escaped Beitar, right? When he finally came to the conclusion that Bar Kochba was not Mashiach, right? He was not going to be able to bring the redemption, and he left. He left Beitar before the terrible destruction of Beitar, and he was going, and probably had some students with him, even though the cartoon stories that the kids have, it's always just Rabbi Akiva by himself. And he had a chicken, and he had a candle, and he had a donkey. Sounds familiar? Right? Right? And so he goes to a city, and the city didn't want to let him in. It was in the middle of the night. It was dangerous stay out in the nature. Wow, mazel tov, mazel tov. Yeah, bachor? Mazel tov. Sach nachas. So, and the city didn't let him in, right? And then he went, and the candle got blown out, and the chicken got eaten, and the dog got eaten. Each thing that happened, he said, what did he say? He didn't say gamzul tova. He said, Kol ma the Avid Rahmana Latav. Everything that Hashem does is for the good, right? Which is different than gamzul tova, which that's what we're going to see, right? Afterwards, in the morning, that city got destroyed, right? And he realized that it was good that his chicken got eaten, because it would have, given away his location to enemies, and also his donkey, and the candle got blown out. He realized afterwards that everything was for the good. Meaning he saw it, right? But at the time that it happened, he said everything that Hashem does is good, right? Okay, so the question was, if that's true, if it's true that everything is good, and everything that Hashem does is good, and from a pasuk in Eicha, mipi elyon lo tetzeh ra'ot v'tov, from the exalted mouth did not come out good and bad, right? Meaning only good comes out from Hashem. So how is it that we have many times experiences that are bad for us? We experience them as bad, difficult experiences, challenging experiences, right? How can that be good, right? And I can't tell you how many countless times I've been speaking with students, Jews, clients in therapy, that they're suffering. They feel like they've reached their threshold. They can't take any more, or that it's been going on for long enough. And then they say, like, how can you say that this is good? How can you say this is good, right? And there doesn't seem to be a light at the end of the tunnel. How are we supposed to understand it, right? The famous question, difficult things. So then he said that there's two kinds of good that Hashem gives to a person. There's one kind that's called revealed good, and another one is called concealed good. Revealed good, halavai, that's what we consider good, and the other one we call bad. But they're both really good, right? But when the good is concealed, we don't have access to understanding it or to experiencing the pleasure in it, right? It's concealed from us, right? It's good, but it's coming in a package that we can't read, we can't register. And now this is what he says. He says, "Ayinyanu v'zekachu," and this is the explanation. Shehen emet. This is the Baal Shem Tov. Shehen emet hu shemin Hashem yizbach hatov v'ameti v'chesed v'anachum mishloshes hamidotav v'anachamim ad ein sof tachlit. That from Hashem Yitbarach, who is good and benevolent and compassionate, with the 13 attributes of compassion, infinite compassion. But for sure, there's no negative that comes to us, right? Just like a loving father would never do anything negative to his son, ever, right? He has to educate him. He has to, train him in certain ways, right? My kids certainly feel when I tell them to brush their teeth, they're not happy about it, and they don't go running to go brush their teeth. They do it. Sometimes if you can't have dessert unless you have all these types of things. And I'm Khalila. A father never does anything intentionally negative towards their child, Hashem is only sending us salvation and goodness and blessing. But if so, how does it work? Then if a man merits it at any given moment in his life, in any given category of his life, so then he gets to have that good, that blessing in a revealed way. Sometimes a person, because of his deeds, could be in this world, in this incarnation, could be in a previous incarnation, right? Because of that, for all different kinds of reasons, that here he sees that he used the language that we use, and his deeds, his acts that are not pure, to everybody according to their level, right? Some people, it's very fine, right? Like it says, like Kadosh Baruch Hu is midagdekim tzadikim. He's exacting with the tzadikim to a hair's breadth, meaning he wants them to be perfected. No different from lahavdil. If the first person's hasn't been in shape his whole life and he goes to the gym and he gets a personal trainer, so the personal trainer is going to take it easy with him on the first day, right? But if he's an Olympic athlete and it's like 2 days until the whatever, right? So his coach is not going to be so forgiving, exacting. Like I expect more from you. So too with the tzaddikim, Kadosh Baruch Hu expects more from them because they're seeking such a higher level of perfection, right? So wants to help them get there. So that this person who has certain deeds, certain past, that's not 100% pure, it's not 100% perfected, like all of us, right? So when the good comes down from heaven to him, so there's mikatugim, there's prosecuting angels that say, wait a minute, Hashem, you're going to give such blessing to him? Look how he spoke last week. Look what he did in his previous incarnation. Look how he treated his father, or whatever, right? Is the prosecuting angels. הפסק דין מלמעלה הוא כך, שלעת עתה יגיע הטובה זו אל האדם בצירופים אחרים, מלובשת ברעה חלילה כנודע. And so then the psak din, the heavenly decision is that, okay, he's going to receive this good because Hashem only wants to give good, but he's going to receive it in a different tziruf, a different formation. It's going to come down in a different form, right? That is going to be disguised, or it's going to be enclosed in something difficult for him, right? There's another teacher of the Baal Shem Tov where he talks about turning, how you can turn things around, and he talks about a few different examples of the tzirufim. Tzirufim means like the same letters, when they're turned around, they mean something different. For instance, oneg means pleasure. Oneg Shabbos. Have a nice piece of something delicious on Shabbos. Oneg Shabbos. Sleeping on Shabbos. Oneg Shabbos. Right? Pleasure. Oneg, ayin, nun, gimel. If you turn those letters around, it spells nega. Nega means a blemish or a wound. Right? So if a person has a wound or a blemish, right? So he says, "Oh gosh, I'm just being punished." There's no such thing as punishment in Judaism and Chassidus. We don't believe in punishment as people understand punishment today. You did such and such bad on a scale from 1 to 10. You did a 6, so you have to suffer 6. A number 6 suffering because that's what you deserve. There's no such thing. Hashem just wants to fix us and to perfect us and to bless us. So if you're having the nega, if you're having the blemish, you're having that wound. Say, wow, Hashem really wants to send me oneg right now. He wants to send me pleasure right now. But it got twisted up because of something in the past. Let me do tshuva. Let me figure out how to fix myself. Let me be a worthy recipient of the blessing in a way that I can get it in a way that it's revealed. Right? Make sense? So now he's going to tell us the secret. Because we don't always know what we did, right? Everybody remember all the things that they did? They said that the Noam Elimelech, the Rebbe Melech he did tshuva all the way back on every single act, even on what he did when he was in the womb, whatever that means, kicking his mother, right? And all the way back until his previous incarnations, and to the extent that that his part of Adam Arishon's soul, and the story goes that he grabbed his brother, the Rebbe of Zusha, and he said, "How did you let me?" He said, "How did I let you what?" He said, "How'd you let me let Adam eat from the fruit?" Right? You should have stopped me. But anyway, most of us can't do tshuva on those levels. There's you guys want a great? Maybe I tell you this. They tell you the story of the student that got in an argument at the gas station. You have to. We have to pause here and tell the story. It's a great story. It should be for the Ilui Nishmato of my student David Gabler, passed away. This is a story about him. He's a former Marine. He was a Marines, career Marines. He was in his mid 40s or around age 40, I guess. He discovered his mother told him he was Jewish. He never. He said that she didn't have any proof of it. She said we're Jewish, and she was really sick and she thought she was going to die. She said this is the family secret. So he discharged himself from the army, from the Marines. He was stationed in Egypt, came over to Israel, made his way, of course, to Machon Meir, where he underwent conversion, Giyur L'Chumrah. And we were very close. He was humongous, and you guys see a man of small stature. It was very cute. We would walk around the Beit Midrash together. All together. Anyway, and he was a very, very special person, very, very sincere person, and he was working on himself. When you're a career Marine, so he knew how to fight. He had been in some fights in his life, and anyway, he got married, and the week of Sheva Brachos, he was at a gas station. He was filling up the rental car or whatever, and somebody didn't like the way that he parked his car. Something started honking at him. And in Israel, people don't just give a little friendly toot toot. So the guy laid on the horn. And here he is. He was like he was tired and he was frustrated and he's trying to get the gas to work. And he's saying, "Rabboni Shalom, help me. I don't want to get upset right now, but he's honking so much. Help me, help me, help me. Rabboni Shalom, please don't let me fight. Don't let me." But of course, the lid flipped and he turned around and he said, "If you don't take your hand off the horn, kach b'kach is going to happen to you." And the guy said, "And if you don't move your car, kach b'kach is going to happen to you." And they were off to the races. Baruch Hashem, nothing happened, but it was very close. And anyway, he comes into the yeshiva the next day, almost in tears. He said, "Rabbi Micha, I sinned. I screamed at a fellow Jew. How can I do it? I got angry. I thought I'd fixed all these things, and now I'm never going to be able to do tshuva because I don't know this guy. I'm never going to be able to apologize to him." So I said that Rav Kook says in Orot HaTshuva, he says that sometimes there's parts of tshuva that we can't do. He said, but we shouldn't not do anything because we can't do all of it. You do your own tshuva, and Hashem will do the rest. That's what Rav Kook says. Right? If you stole some money from someone, you don't know who you stole it from on accident, let's say. You don't know who to pay it back to. Right? So you do your part. Maybe you give some money to tzedakah. Hashem will take care of it and make it, right? So that's what Rav Kook says. That's what I told him. So he said, okay. So he went, he did tshuva. He comes back in a week later. It was Yom Ha'atzmaut in that week. He said, I was in the park in Gan Saka, and I saw the guy. I was so excited. Here's my chance to do tshuva. So I went running up to him. And what do you think the guy thought? Right? So I went. I ran up to him. He said, I come in peace. I come in peace. He said, good. So he started talking. He said, listen, I apologize. You were really being a jerk the way you were, honking like that. It's totally inappropriate, but I apologize for what I did. And I'm really sorry about it. And I hope you forgive me. He said, no, you were right. I was just frustrated. I shouldn't have honked, And they ended up hugging and apologizing. The guy told him a great line. He said, classic Israeli, he said, with Jews, we are brothers. Right? We're brothers. With a brother, you take out your gun and you cock it, but you never shoot. That's what he said. That could be an Israeli bumper sticker, right? How did we get to that story? I don't remember how we got to that story though. It was worth it though, just to say a story. He passed away since then. But anyway, okay. So when you're in a situation where it's difficult and it's challenging, and you have that nega, and you want to turn it around to oneg, right? You want to reveal the good in it, not that it should be concealed, that it should be revealed. How do you do that? What's your job at that moment? This is what the Baal Shem Tov is going to teach us right now. It's very beautiful. If he stands the challenge, if he stands this test at this moment, meaning it's a rainy day, somebody's honking at you, you got a ticket for 500 shekels. Something difficult is happening. You wanted to go on a shidduch and it didn't work out. Something, right? All the millions of challenging things that happen to us in our life. What's the test at that moment? שיתחזק עצמו באמונה שלמה וחזקה באמת. He should strengthen his emunah with truth at that moment and say to himself, שכל מה דאביד רחמנא ודאי לטוב אביד. Exactly what Rabbi Akiva said. Every single thing that HaKadosh Baruch Hu does is for the good. Right? I can't see it at this moment. I.e., Rabbi Akiva, I have to go sleep in the field and my chicken got killed and my candle blew out and my donkey got eaten. I don't see the good at this moment, but I believe, I strengthen my emunah in this dark moment. Everything is for the good. Everything that Hashem does is for the good. Above those storm clouds, the sun is shining all the time. And I believe with perfect faith that no negative, no evil, nothing bad comes from Hashem. If it's being experienced with to me bad in this way at this moment, there's a reason, but it's not because Hashem is punishing me or hurting me or hates me. Chas v'shalom. Ki hu yitbarach tov hu meitiv, because Hashem is infinitely good and benevolent, giving. The Chassid, above and beyond. V'rachum b'yud gimel midot arachim imad ein sof v'tachlit. Infinite compassion with the 30-minute midas of, right? That's Hashem. That's the essence of Hashem. And at this moment where I'm feeling the difficulty, I strengthen my emunah in that. And he believes for sure whatever I'm experiencing right now is good for me. I don't understand it, I don't feel it, it hurts, but I believe it. It's a big good for me. No, it's just it hasn't yet been revealed to me. At this moment I'm still in the dark.
I have a question. It's because sometimes some people did some bad things to me, for example. So people have free will, so feeling
Right.
many times the free will is not really free. It's all from Hashem.
Right. It's a great question. I'm gonna give you a short answer because I want to keep going, but if it's not sufficient afterwards I'll explain more. Chazal say megagalin zchut al yadei zakai umegagalin chov al yadei chayav. That whatever is supposed to happen to me is going to happen to me. Period. As far as I'm concerned, everybody else is just puppets, so to speak. Because Hashem is the one that's running my life, and if I wasn't supposed to get honked at the gas station, so then Hashem wouldn't have sent that person to honk at me, right? He's got his own free choice. He's got his own cheshbon, his own account with Hashem, right? And the fact that he had to do something negative to another Jew, that itself is a form of tikkun for him, that he had to do that because he wasn't. In other words, if I would be 100% pure and perfected in my actions and my thoughts and my deeds, then I would never have to be in a position where I harmed another person. But if harm came to another person through me, it's because I did something wrong myself, and now that's part of my tikkun, right? So that's why in halacha we have to be so careful. We are so careful in halacha not to harm anybody, even the slightest way, right? But as far as I'm concerned, in my cheshbon with Hashem, he's just a puppet, right? The police officer that wrote me the ticket, the girl that said no to the shidduch, the whatever it is, the bank that refused the loan, whatever difficulty the person having. So all of that is just between me and Hashem, right? And it's good. That's the point here, right? It hurts right now. I'm in the dark. I don't understand why this is good because I thought I'm coming to take out a loan so I could buy a house, have a place to raise my family in Eretz Yisrael, but the bank denied me or whatever it is, right? So I don't see it right now. But at that moment, Dafka, I strengthen my belief because Baruch Hu, everything that you do is good. Everything you do is from infinite compassion, and right now it's just concealed. So then what happens? אזי בזכות האמונה שיאמין ויבטח כל כך בהשם יתברך יתהפכו הצירופים כידוע. In the zchut of that emunah that he has at that moment, he changes the tzeruf. He changes those letters, the order of the letters. He actually spiritually changes things. ויעשו ויתהוו צירופים הקודמים הטובים כמו שהיו קודם הכיתוגים. And then it comes out the original blessing that Hashem wanted to give him, which was oneg, before it got turned around. I'm just using that as an example, of course. Then it goes back to its original form of the revealed good, right? Before it got twisted up. And then eventually it becomes revealed to everybody. Not only that, but the good now is even greater than it was before, had it not gone through this process of being concealed and then re-revealed. It becomes even greater, it grows. שאף מן הרע בעצמו יתהווה הטובה הגדולה מקמייתא כמו שאכתוב לקמן. Because even from that negative itself, the good came, right? And that's a much greater kiddush Hashem, so to speak. Meaning, if everything's going good for you in your life and you say, well, yeah, thank God, I love Hashem, right? So that's wonderful. That's great. But if things are also not going so good and you say, I still love God, that's much greater. It's a much greater level. It's a much greater commitment and awareness and emunah in Hashem. Right? And there's a Sefer I think I've told you guys about from a tzaddik who used to live in Yerushalayim, Rabbi Moshe Freund. He writes letters, and he talked all the suffering people of Yerushalayim used to come to him, and he speaks about how dafka in moments of suffering, that's when a person's relationship with Hashem is really forged, right? Because you don't know if my relationship with Hashem is real or not, if it's only in the good times. So too in a relationship between human beings, if we're there for each other in the hard times, so then we're friends, right? If we abandon each other in hard times, that's not a real friendship, right? Only when right? Only when things are good, we're buddies. So we weren't really buddies then. But if a person doesn't stand up to that test at that moment, he doesn't place his trust and his faith in Hashem at that moment, אזי יעמדו וישארו הצירופים חלילה כמו שידעו לצד עכשיו אחר קיטוג וזהו פסק דין מלמעלה והבן. It says then it stays in that negative form, right? Meaning the only thing that can change those negative experiences in our life is really emunah. That's the key factor here. If he doesn't strengthen himself at that moment, stay on that's the test. Meaning the test is not, I don't know, something else, whatever, we have a million, I'll get you 1 second, a million ideas of what's the test, what's my test right now. Ultimately, the only test that we really have is, am I going to believe and trust in Hashem that this is also good at this moment, right? I also have to fix myself and think why specifically this, what's the message that I'm being told here that I can fix myself, that I can perfect myself, better myself. But ultimately, it's really like, if I go into this place of, and it's a very, I'm gonna say this clearly. In Judaism, we don't have a belief that I said it before. I'm just gonna say it again. The belief that Hashem punishes me and that Hashem is angry with me, even though there's such statements in Tanakh, but they all have a meaning that is deeper than just the pshat level. But Hashem doesn't punish us and hate us and angry. It doesn't work like that. Hashem only wants our good at every single moment in our life, and even when there's tremendous dark suffering that we can't understand why to this extent, only for our good, always, every second, without a break from that. That's the system that we're in, and no other, according to Judaism.
Sorry, I had a small comment of a friend of mine, Ariel Cohen, who teaches in the and he brought actually something that's so related to this. He said that exactly as you said, the moments that we are going through difficulties and that somebody, I don't know, a girl says no in a shidduch, or something that we want to, basically something we want to achieve, it doesn't succeed, it doesn't come. It's a moment of disappointment, and because we want to move forward, we feel that we're stuck. When it doesn't happen, we feel that we're stuck in a certain crossroads, as if we're parked. And so he said, these are the moments that we're parked, are the moments that we are closest to Hashem, because at those moments we should be making our best effort to connect. Of course, we always should, but at those moments we really put in all our, I think, effort to connect to Hashem. But what was so amazing about it is he said that's why the Hebrew word for parking is chanaya, because it really consists of 2 words, chen and the name of Hashem.
Beautiful.
So he says the moment you're parked is the grace of Hashem who's bringing you to a place where you can do a sort of a tikkun, where you go through a process of thought and making the right decision, being put on the right.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, it's true. So many times we're so busy trying to achieve whatever it is that we're trying to achieve that we have lost focus of our relationship with Hashem at that moment.
Yeah.
And so Hashem kind of stops the whole the whole game, the whole performance, the whole everything. Like, hey, wait a minute. Right? Okay, beautiful. Let's go on just for another 5 minutes. Okay, we'll give you guys a 5-minute break before the next year. So therefore, it's a little bit repetitive, but it's important, I think, to read the whole piece. He says, therefore, when then one of these moments comes into your life, into our lives. In other words, a bad experience, a difficult experience. So right, the first thing, let's start to do tshuva at that place, right? Not because Hashem's angry at me and I'm so bad. No, just like I want to be pure, so I can receive this good that Hashem is giving to me. I want to be a kli that can receive it in a way that it's revealed. V'yamin she'Hashem yitbarach hu emet v'tarato hakdosha emet. And to strength at that moment, this is what you say to yourself: Hashem is true, and His Torah is true. V'chol ma shegilu lanu, and all that they reveal to us about Hashem, i.e., Hashem yitbarach v'tarato hakdosha, through His Torah, shehu tov u'metiv v'chasid v'rachum b'shloshes hamidot v'rachmim ad ein sof v'tachlit. That Hashem is good and benevolent and infinitely compassionate and only good in giving. And from Hashem don't come out any negative things as a negative thing, right? Like we said, only good and chesed and compassion from us, to us, Hashem's close nation. All that is true. You strengthen your moon at that moment. And I trust with strong trust in you, Hashem. Hashem yitbarach be'emet, with truth, bevadai u'tova. For sure this is good. Hainu bevadai tova yatsa me'Hashem yitbarach. For sure, in other words, Hashem, good came out from you. Even though it's experiencing right now, it's enclosed in this difficulty. It's good. Because everything that Hashem does is for the good. It's only become enclosed in the difficulty, like we said. But the truth is, it's good. Just the revelation of the good is waiting for his emunah, for my emunah at this moment. That's what Hashem wants from me right now. Hashem doesn't want me to, get sad. He doesn't want me to feel punished and feel rejected. Hashem wants me to reveal a piece of emunah right now. That's what He's waiting for. Then I turn around the midat adin, this din that's experiencing right now. I turn it in, I sweeten it, and turn it into compassion, into loving kindness. And all this tzirufin get turned around. Says, and then it turns into a tremendous salvation and a comfort and a closeness with Hashem, which is very big. But also we understand that if we don't do that at that moment, so we're doing the opposite. We're just keeping ourselves in that dark place. And oh man, I wish we had another 10 minutes. We can't do it today because we got another rabbi coming. But I'll just give you a little teaser for next week, and then we're going to finish with this piece of the Baal Shem Tov. Is that he's going to explain to us at the end of the piece the difference between the midah that Rabbi Akiva said, which is Kol man de'avid rachmana l'tav avid. Everything that Hashem does is for the good. That's like us saying, above the rainy days, right? Above the rainy skies, the sun is always shining. Hashem is always sending the good, whether you see it or not. I believe in that in a general way. Between that and his Rebbe, Nachum Ish Gamzu, when he said Gamzu L'Tova, the difference between those, because there's a subtle difference, but it makes a huge difference. And each one needs to be pulled out in different situations. We'll continue that next week. And just to plug that back into the context of Talmud Devorah, is that all that is our way of connecting everything that we experience in our lives to the midah of chesed. When you connect all the moments of your life and all the experiences of your life to the midah of chesed, not only do you reveal the good and the blessing that Hashem is trying to give you, but you yourself become the conduit for Hashem's chesed in the world, right? If you like we said, let's go back to imagining that we had a friend, Nachum Ish Gamzu. At those moments, when you're frustrated and flustered, it would probably be a little bit bothersome. But man, we would love to have a friend like that, because he would help us see the good in all situations. And like we see with Nachum Ish Gamzu next week, so many miracles happened with him. He was melumad benisin. There's not many people in Shas that it says that he was how do I say melumad benisin? He was regular. It was a normal commonplace by him. Miracles that happen all the time. Just like it says that Hagar, when she saw the angel, when the angel came and talked to her, she wasn't taken aback because she was used to it. In the house of Avram Avinu, angels are walking around all the time, right? Flying around, I don't know, talking around, whatever it is, right? So he was accustomed to miracles. Why? Because he himself was the conduit to the midah of chesed, is what the Ramak is teaching us to do. We'll continue next week. Oh, wow. No cord.